With that, let me give you my definition. Wellness, we use this word all the time if you don't level set. In fact, I bet if I asked you for your definition of wellness, everybody here would have a definition of wellness. Part of the beauty of the word is that people are using it and they recognize that it somehow is the antithesis of sickness, but that's not it. Because when it's that, it becomes marginalized. It's the first thing that goes within organizations. It's like the company picnic or free fruit on Tuesdays. It goes when budgets get tight. I'm telling you, as a business person who has built organizations, sold companies, been part of large enterprises, without this, you have no company. It is critical for a variety of reasons that we'll talk about, and then my colleagues will follow, talking about what's happening in Illinois, what's happening in Wisconsin, what's happening right here in your area. So it's a dynamic, objective, subjective progression toward a state of complete physical, intellectual, emotional, spiritual, please don't forget spiritual, social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. A couple of key points are there. It's dynamic, objective, and subjective. My wellness, my subjective wellness is not yours. Oh my goodness, my wife said, go have a wonderful time, please come home, but don't ask me to go trekking in mountains. That's not her idea of subjective wellness. So it's subjective to me, and then of course we have objective measurements. The most important part of this is that there are incremental opportunities for improvement from preconception to the last breath that you take. So we don't divide wellness into all of the finger sticks and all of the HRAs and all of the smoking cessation, all that, and then DM over here someplace when somebody presents and they need care management. It doesn't work that way, or end-of-life support. It doesn't work that way. It is the full continuum. That's how you measure this. Corporate, any activity, policy, attitude, physical plan, circumstance that facilitates a person's progression toward complete physical, intellectual, emotional, spiritual, social, and not merely. So you have an opportunity to take your collective knowledge and really, really, really make a difference in your organization, in your community, in your family life. The task, the opportunity that I took on 2 years ago when somebody knocked on my door and said, don't get real comfortable and don't just climb mountains. There are babies that need to be saved. And that was Children's Medical Center, to come down and kind of redesign healthcare in North Texas as a national model. And part of it was collective impact, which means in your organization, in your community right now, you've got a lot of really good isolated impact. You've got organizations that are doing good things. You've got society and you've got companies that are doing, but collectively, there's this hesitation to drop logos, drop brands, drop swords and shields, get together collectively so you have this wonderful repository of intellect experience that advances your entire community. By the way, when that happens, when community advances, your organization advances. And I'll touch a little bit on that as we go through this. So when you talk to me, you know my definition. That's real important. When you talk to your colleagues about these issues, please stop first and say, how do you define wellness? And let me define it for you. Or population health, which I prefer to use, or even the old term of health promotion, disease prevention. It means all of the business objectives that are in your mission and vision statements. Responsibility, this is another one that's going to be an issue as we talk about this. Responsibility, my definition, assigned and or expected behavior. That's responsibility. That's not the same as accountability. We give a lot of responsibility, but we often ignore accountability. You have responsibilities, but what happens if you don't fulfill those responsibilities? Accountability, the penalties, rewards associated with fulfilling or failure to fulfill one's responsibilities. We don't have a lot of accountability around these issues, certainly not around individual health, organizational health, community health. We've not had any. Those times change. One of my assignments along the way is I went to Cuba. I didn't have to go through Cancun. I didn't have to go through Toronto. I went through the State Department, the U.S. State Department. I led a group of professors from the University of Rhode Island to dig into the Cuban healthcare system, and I'll touch upon that. But this responsibility, accountability, the economic imperative, not just a thesis, but a reality. There's many places in this world for which that is reality. Here's my position statement. Accountable responsibility requires awareness, access, and affordability. So we'll talk about that a little bit in the course of this. It's one thing to say, now take care of yourself. It's irresponsible to do that. You can do that in some kind of a social contract when I provide you with awareness, when I provide you with access and affordability. So again, we'll touch upon that. Each one of these, by the way, is about a half-day seminar, so we'll condense it.